Hey guys, let me get the lights. Hey guys, so this video is going to be kind of a catch up on what we've been going on, what we have going on, and what we've been doing, and basically kind of the situation that I've got going on with work and the channel and upcoming events. Speaking of that, let me grab my coffee. So that being said, what's going on with the channel? Well, some of you guys know what I do for a living and some of you guys don't. I work for a communication company and I do wireless engineering for voice over IP services and telephone service for small communities all across the state of Texas. So therefore, I travel literally all year long. And that means every week of every year. And we've been doing it since about 2008. Well, the whole goal is for Texas to provide high-speed internet service and telephone service to every community and small town, rural town that doesn't have any competition to the incumbent. That being said, we build all year long. COVID was a huge setback for us. That's why a lot of things on the channel changed financially and just kind of directionally what we were doing and where I was going. That being said, everything's now back open. And so I literally just got back in town. I've been on the road for weeks now, and this is my one stop back in Amarillo for a week, and then I go back on the road. And then when I start the second project here in a week, I'll be out of town most likely the rest of the year. Take that and couple it with the YouTube channel and the events that I'm trying to make and the bonds that I'm trying to form with different companies. I'm super, super busy. So that being said, I had a few things I wanted to record and throw out there this week, but instead I chose to kind of let you guys understand where I'm at and what's coming and what still has to happen and all that stuff, so you at least know what you're going to see on the channel moving forward. And because of that, I think we'll start with events. So the next few things I have coming up is going to be the Bronco Safari with Bronco Nation and a couple other guys. And we're going to hit that up, and that's going to be in Moab, and that's going to be the first week of May. So it'll be the 2nd through the 7th. And then the next thing that follows that will be Overland Expo West in Flagstaff, Arizona. Now that I think starts on the 17th and goes through the 22nd. But I have some travel days before that we're going to be out and camping, and then travel days after that we'll be out and camping. Just like the Moab trip, I'll be camping prior and camping after. Those two things fall directly in line with each other. There's a week separated by them. So the month of April, I've been working with King and Brenthal Industries for a while now. And we've been trying to get everything put together for the Bronco. Since it's going to be a long arm and there's going to be some different things to it that I requested, it's taken a little bit longer. Some of the weight changed, so that was going to be a little bit of different valving and stuff like that with the shocks that were going to be in the front. So that's kind of slowed down the process. Now, because of King of the Hammers and King provides so many teams of shocks, it kind of slowed down production and that stuff. So as far as that Baja full travel kit, it's still happening. I have 99% of it here. The only thing we're missing is the shocks. That being said, I don't know if some of this stuff is going to be done before those events. Now, in conjunction with those, I've been talking back and forth with Ursa Minor, hoping that potentially Brock Landerts could land in one of the booths for Ursa Minor there at Flagstaff, and hopefully do, kind of the Bronco unveiling for the top, the Ursa Minor top, in front of the big crowd there. Don't know that that's going to happen yet. John had setbacks because Bronco, from the delivery of the very first Bronco to the 2022, has changed the way the roof works. And what I mean by that is, instead of it having two linear sides that follow each other or parallel, they actually kind of like this, they go out and then come back in towards the back. So his original prototype wouldn't work on later year models, so therefore he had to redesign it, and that's what we've been working on. So he was hoping to maybe have it ready for the Expo West. If that's the case, I'm hoping that he does select me, and we gonna go together on this, and we have Brocklanders in the booth, and you guys can see that tent in action and how they install it, and then how it transforms your standard overland off-road rig into something more like an expedition style single mode of travel outback vehicle, basically like an adventure vehicle. And so it's something that I've always felt was the best way to travel when you're doing the kind of travel I do, long multiple week trips and across a lot of miles. I try to, if I come back less than 1,500 to 1,700 miles, I don't feel like I accomplished enough on the trip. So that being said, that's the kind of process of moving to the tent on the Bronco in the future versus having Kong. And that's another thing we'll discuss here in a minute. Anyway, circling back to events. After that, we have Expo in Lakeland, Colorado, Mountain West. Then we have the Ozarks in October. And then potentially also Expo East in Virginia. So I have a lot of stuff towards the mid-central part of the year that's planned, and unfortunately for me, there's not a lot of gaps between the two, or between all the dates, and then having to take that in consideration, my work and build schedule is bananas. We've been working 6 days a week. So because of that, it's becoming hard for me to travel directly from here, somewhere, come back, and then go back to work. So there'll be a manipulation in my travel schedule coming in this next few months. Meaning, basically what I'm gonna do is, once he's done, we still have the suspension and some other stuff to do, but once he's done, I'll probably travel him down to Dallas area where I'm gonna be working for probably the rest of the part of the year. And so what I'll do is on weekends when I have time off, I'll travel from there up into Kansas, Arkansas, Tennessee, Louisiana, the Central Texas. We have a bunch of parks that I want to hit and show you guys. And so there's a lot of stuff going on in my personal life with work, and then a lot of stuff going on with the channel because we're getting a lot of traction now, right? And so that's helping. And because of that, people are reaching out and asking me, hey, are you going to attend this? Or would you like to attend this? Or can you meet us at this event? So that's really nice to see, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I haven't missed a video ever in 2 years of Sundays. So that being said, on top of every Sunday, I've put out probably 100 shorts or more. So I try to be incredibly dedicated to you guys, to the channel, and growing as far as my channel and being able to offer this to more people, and then at the same time continuing work schedules and regular life flow. So that being said, that's what I have scheduling wise. I guess the next thing we'll go over is probably him. Let's take a look. Okay, so we'll just look at him now. So Kong, as he sits right there, is what I consider a single expedition unit, meaning all the spare parts that you need for a lot of things are carried in those two cubbies. The generator is attached to him at all times. The red tank is an additional diesel tank to that yellow one right there for the diesel heater. That way at all times, I have about 7.5 gallons of diesel with me at all times for the heater, because I do travel all through the winter. That being said, that's another 5-gallon tank of water, actual drinking water. And then back there's a secondary tank for the generator, which is a 4-gallon Roto Pax for just straight gas. And the reason I'm mentioning all this is because it's got that on-demand hot water shower back there, and it's got AC, it's got heat. That is why I call it a single expedition vehicle. I mean, this is basically all you need. But the way I'm traveling and moving these days, I'm moving at a faster rate where I'm not saying Kong is a hindrance, because if you watch the channel long enough, I have a series on him. I will take that guy anywhere, and he can go anywhere. But I'm generally trying to cover a lot of ground. And because of that, this is somewhat slowing me down because I like to attack the harder trails. Now, when I say attacking the harder trails, crawling, whatever you want to call, but either way, I try to incorporate those in my overlanding. So when I go out, everybody has different goals, and my goal as far as overlanding is to kind of show you guys the purest form. And the reason why is because some of my earliest heroes in this scope of overlanding would be Andrew St. Pierre. And the reason why is because he does it how I envision it we should be doing it, or how I appreciate doing it. And that means the minute you set off on your adventure, how much of that time can you be on dirt versus how much of that time do you spend hopping between locations and such. And so basically what I try to do is I have to kind of start my journey in New Mexico, because that allows me to attach to Arizona and then Colorado, and obviously from Colorado to Utah, Utah to Wyoming and Montana and Idaho and Oregon. And so that being said, I've got some serious stuff in here when we did the Raptor that once we left Lakeland, Colorado, we were basically on trail for about 7 days. And so in that 7 days, we covered like 2,200 miles. So that's what I mean about him. Now, as far as an expedition vehicle, the dude can tackle anything. It's got 600 amp hours of lithium battery. It's got an 1800 watt inverter built in, 32-inch TV, diesel heater, air conditioning. I carry a standalone generator. It's got a 400 watt solar panel on top. So it's super self-sufficient, Bluetooth stereo. So that makes it very convenient when you go camping, right? When you have extra or other occupants with you. It makes it really convenient when you have a base camp set up, so you can come home and the kitchen's always set up and the kind of the atmosphere is set up. It's got a 270-degree awning on one side and a 9-foot on the other. That all being said, it's a wonderful base camp. You come back, you've got a shady place to sit, and it's got all the amenities you would need. But there's a caveat to that. So I've mentioned it before, and I'll mention it again. I'm not 100% sure that my future plans of this channel won't be full-time. And I don't know if you've, kind of how you appreciate overlanding and what spectrum of it, but one of the biggest influences on me is Chris Shantz from Venture Forward, because of his sense of exploration. Like, it doesn't matter where it is or what he's doing, he's always constantly moving and traveling. And now that's changed a little bit now that he's found a life partner and they're getting a house, but still his sense of adventure. And when he gets there, it's not just mobile in his Jeep, but he also goes and hikes some of the prettiest places we could imagine seeing. And so that's kind of what I've prefaced my channel on. So seeing Andrew St. Pierre being like the originator of overlanding 30 years ago, traveling across Africa and Australia and Botswana and so many other places, to now Chris Shantz doing it all the way across the United States, up into Canada, Newfoundland. He's been to Alaska. That shows me that we're just missing so much. Because of that, that's pushed me to think about full-time travel more often. Now, I'm close to my 20 years at this company. I've been with this company 20 years. I started at the very bottom, and now I'm the senior engineer, the lead engineer for technology and voice over IP applications. And so I don't know. I kind of think that, am I at the end of my rope for this employment venture? And so I'm hoping, and that's why I worked so diligently on the channel, I'm hoping that with more work by me, obviously, and I'm trying, guys, with more work by me and more consistency and continued consistency, that this is something that will eventually become my employment. Now, for whatever reason, everything is harder for me, right? I've never received handouts, and I've never received offers either. So what you guys see every bit of it. I pay for all of it. So I work 6 days a week. We work, 10 to 13 hours a day, and that's 6 days a week. And I've done it for a long, long time. We started building in 2008, put it that way. So everything I have, I've worked my rear end off. And so I haven't been blessed with those opportunities yet, and other people have. Other channels have gotten them, way earlier. And a lot of channels were able to get traction in during the COVID times. And if you look at all the analytics and stuff, their channels were probably the size of mine prior to COVID. And then you put, 11 to 13 million people a day on YouTube, watching YouTube in America, looking this stuff up, looking for ways to get out and get away from the COVID. You can imagine how their channels would have grown exponentially. This has nothing to do with their abilities, because there's so many channels out there that do incredible work. Probably my favorite videography is Drew Sims. It's amazing. Dirt Nate Lifestyle is probably the most talented fabricator on YouTube, period. Sean from The Story Till Now has the best ability to capture excitement while wheeling, while showing the beauty around him. Just amazing, right? And so I can go on, and I would say probably Brad and Marco for being the best overland wheeling duo to extend kindness and knowledge throughout the community. I could go on. There's a bunch of them. Ventured Rome does some beautiful, beautiful work. I would say he's probably the hands down the best film narrator on YouTube. So anyway, food for thought. I'm just saying that now when my channel was at its pubescent stages, everybody was going back to work. And so now it's one of those things where you have to stand out to be seen. And so YouTube's very hard with that, and they're very particular, right? So I've never had any issues. I've never had any setbacks. I've never had any drawbacks. And it's been a constant climb, but all my mentors tell me that, the first 5,000 are the hardest to receive. And I am as I am. You guys know that. I will help anybody. I will do anything for anyone. And I will spend, if you look at my conversations on my YouTube videos, I will spend countless hours explaining something or communicating people through personal messages and stuff like that, so that if the video I put out wasn't sufficient enough for them to understand, I'll allow them to communicate back and forth with me, so we can maybe even remotely diagnose an issue and get past that issue and get them on their way. And so it's a love of mine to be on YouTube, and the video side of it is probably my favorite side of it. The video side of it and exploring, adventure. Because I travel, that's what I do. I travel all over Texas because, and I have been since 2008 because our network is so big. We're up in the northern panhandle, the very top tip, and right now we've built from Amarillo all the way to mid-central Texas, from El Paso, from east to west, all the way. So I travel, at the very least, Monday and Friday, 7 hours both ways. So it's just kind of what I've gotten used to. And so because of that, now I really yearn to go see things that I haven't seen. Because traveling through Texas, as big as it is, we take different roads and stuff all the time just to kind of, spice a trip up, because we've been doing them for so long, that I've just gathered this appreciation for seeing things that, you would never see, because we always take the major thoroughfares, take the highways to the fastest highway to the fastest highway, and I no longer do that. So that's just feeding my yearn for adventure. Anyway, now we've covered Kong. And the last thing I'll say about him is the reason why I went over that stuff is because I'm about to give him a big once-over, and then you're probably going to see a walkthrough video, walkthrough for sale video for him, because I think at this point it's time to let somebody else enjoy him. Because again, it's better suited for a couple. It's better suited for a couple and some dogs, or a single and some dogs, that doesn't do like long range travel like I do, just does more like local trips within 3 hours of their home and stuff like that, because then gas isn't such an issue. Because right now, it's bananas. I don't care what you drive. But yeah, so you guys will be seeing that. I'll be preparing that and getting him ready for sale. And I don't know what I'm gonna ask for him yet. I know what he's worth, that's for sure. So that's why I was covering that, because that parlays into why I'm moving into a more singularly built expedition vehicle that will cover all scopes of what we do, right? So that being said, let's get into this guy. This dude, obviously, you know, we have stuff in store for the suspension. That's why it's just taking so long. A lot of it's right there and sitting ready and prepared. So it'll get a full long travel setup underneath the sky. It'll be a 3-inch lift on top of what we have here. So net will probably see like, he'll probably be an inch and a half-ish taller than what it is right now. But then of course long arms and stuff like that. That being said, I want to say thank you to Chase Gentry because he assisted in the next process. The next process is something to compensate for how much wider this guy's going to be. Now, this guy in the front is going to gain a width of 6 inches overall. So it'll be 3 inches wider on front, left and right. So that being said, the back will get extended 1.5 inches to compensate. That way they'll look even from the rear. Well, because of that, we're having to change all the side panels because at that point, the tires would stick so far out that there would be no coverage and whatever you drove through would be all over the vehicle, not to mention it's basically not allowed in just about any town. So to cover that, we're gonna have to go with all new body panels, and that's gonna be coming from John and Advanced Fiberglass. And again, Chase Gentry, thank you. I appreciate you helping me get that put together. That being said, that'll be the body panels. Then obviously it's gonna be getting the hood. Chase and I talked about it and we felt like going with the Raptor hood with the extractors on it was the smartest thing because he and I noticed that our rigs got super hot or even hot when we were out there playing in the King of the Hammers because we both drive like crazy people. Or what my mom used to say, you drive like your hair's on fire. Well, yeah, I mean, but that's what's so fun about it, right? So anyway, it'll get that hood. In the meantime, it's gonna go to a good friend of mine, Kenny Segura, and he's gonna do all the color matching, okay? And then after that, the next big thing will happen will be the top. It replaces the entire top. It looks like a hard top, and it is from front to back, but the difference is the top of it turns into a rooftop tent. It's all together one piece. So you'll basically enter it from the cabin. You get inside, you're in a secure area and inside a tent. That way, when it's snowing and raining and bonkers outside, I can just hang out in there because when those two center panels open, I think when you're standing from there to the top, if you were measured from the deck all the way to where the tent is on the top, I think it's over 7 feet. So it's huge. So I'll be able to stand up there and work on my laptop, look outside. It's got full panoramic windows all the way around so you can look outside. It's got screens, netting, and then of course blackouts. So that'll just enhance my trip big time because although this guy's got windows and stuff, there's a lot of times where I can't get him to where I want to be camping. There's a lot of cliffs and stuff I want to back up to and look out and even wake up and have coffee to, and now I'll be able to do that. So those are part of the things. Anyway, waiting to get that will be the next thing. In the meantime, you guys know that this little guy right here, inside here, this setting, if you go back and you want to see what that is, if you go look at the full review, you'll see that's actually the cubby where my diesel heater is gonna go. That being said, that's one of the videos coming up very soon because it finally showed up. So I need to get that installed and get it plumbed and piped and ready. That way, when I have the rooftop tent, what that'll act as is this right here will be a diesel heater. And so when the vehicle's off and the vent, it's engineered with venting areas from the top tent area to down here. So when you turn the heater on down here, it'll go up into the actual tent area and keep that warm. And so that's what I'll use in the winter, and that's what I'll use to keep me warm and such on those cold nights. So I'm gonna get that install done, and I'm gonna show you guys how that looks and kind of how it goes together. I won't really do an in-depth video. The reason being is because in this application, I don't know that you guys are gonna have a deck system like this built where it would be something that you guys would be able to utilize as reference. I will show it, and I'll show you kind of how it all works, but as for what's going on, that's what's going on next. And then probably that gets us to our full build, right? That get in conception or in an idea, that gets me to where I feel like Brocklanders is as capable as it can be. And if you didn't see last week, go back and check that out. We completed the power system for him. The very last remaining thing is going to be the solar panels that go on top of the tent top. And that'll tie into the battery system, the house battery system down here. There's already provisions for that in the Renogy controller. And so when I install them on top, I'll run them down into the cabin and then over into the Renogy. And so when I'm parked and there's sun, those solar panels will be charging the house battery separately from the main battery. That way the main battery is never messed with. It's only for starting. And so all the power that's drawn, and that's why I went so big. That's why I went with 200 amp hours of lithium battery, so that it'll be the power that charges my drone batteries and my camera batteries and the lights that I use and cell phones, runs the heater during the winter and all those things, plus extra camp lights and such. So that kind of catches you guys up. And I just kind of felt like, I don't know, maybe I want you guys to comment down below. I feel like I've been impersonal to you guys because I don't let you guys know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm just another vendor channel, and I'm just showing you here, this is, watch this, here, watch this. And so I needed you guys to understand the process of my life and what's going on and why I choose to do and do the videos that I do and how I do them and why I go anywhere and all that stuff. So that's where we're at. I was fortunate to find a home for the Raptor, Fat Boy Raptor. He actually is now owned by a current person serving in our active duty military at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. So I was super excited for that to go to him. I'm a huge military supporter. I'm a pro-American, and other than that, I'm a pro let's help each other out kind of guy. And so I don't know that we'll see a lot of fabrication videos anymore, and I know that that's going to hurt a lot of y'all's feelings. I just don't have anything to build, fortunately, right? So with the Jeeps and prior channels, I had a lot of fabrication to do. I built a lot of bumpers, a lot of winch plates, a lot of back decks and bumpers and skid plates and even rock sliders and stuff like that. Now I do love those. This is a quick plug. Those are Zero Z, and I love them. They've been super strong. I am going to pull them off and add 2 body or 2 frame attachments on them. I'm gonna go ahead and sand down, put some brackets on them. I'll just build some brackets, weld them on them, and then that way I can attach those because I like the width of them. I hate things that are small. The reason being is because you can't get a foot on them and you're always slipping and falling out of them, and I get super angry when that happens. So I had ones that were boat sides where they kind of curved up like this, on the JL and Gladiator, and they were great for protection, but they were terrible for you not busting your butt, slamming your shin into them, falling off of them. So we'll get that done. We'll fix those. And I think, this is what I think. I think that when all that stuff is done, said and done, I think he'll be completely ready for all my overland travels. And so instead of seeing Kong, in the travels anymore, I'll hopefully find him a good home. I've had him for so long. I've had him for over 4 years now. And he's done over 60,000 miles on the road. He's had bearings twice. So he's just a beast. So that's a sad part of the journey, but that's just kind of where we get, right? But anyway, I didn't want to ramble. I didn't want to make this too long. I just kind of wanted to catch you guys up because I felt like I was being impersonal. And I needed you guys to understand what was going on with me and what I'm doing and how I kind of make things happen, right? And so that's when I say, like, follow my Patreon and stuff. It's not because, you know, I've got all these people handing me stuff. I work for it, and whatever I do and put on the channel, it's because I feel like you guys need to see it. And so that means I have to buy it so I can show it to you guys. And so that way you'll know if you want it or you need it or you think it's good or bad. One thing I want to do is, I forgot about this. I want to send a shout out to Christina with Bum. She sent me some pretty cool stickers. Check them out. They're all about, you can find her on Instagram. I think it's bum.bum, or I think so. Anyway, she's super cool. They do rad photography. They're into off-road. They're into old Porsches and European cars. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. And basically what it is, if you build it and you know, love it and you go race it and you go wheel it and whatever, that's their community. And so anyway, this shameless plug for them. And so that being said, thank you for the people that reached out to me. I have, if you look at this video below, you'll see my new lines of shirts. If you click on those, you can go to the page and you'll see the new Brocklanders logoed gear. You'll see the Brocklanders mountain gear. There's flat bills. There's hoodies. There's shirts. There's all kinds of stuff. Just take a look at that and maybe you like something. I don't know. I've also got stickers. I've also got PVC patches coming. I will be at Expo West. I'll be at Bronco Safari. I'm going to have a lot of that stuff with me. I'm going to bring it. If you see me ever, I'll probably talk your ear off. But because I don't care if you drive a damn Toyota. I'm going to talk about why did you do it and what did you put on it and what was your point in the gears and what were you thinking about those bumpers. Like I love it. I breathe this stuff. I think my vein, if you were to nick me right here, it would be motor oil. Like I just love what we do and what we're into, and I love camping and I love teaching. And so that being said, that's kind of it in a nutshell. That's where we are with the channel. I'm super thankful for all of you guys. We are about to hit 2,000 subscribers in 2 years. So I'll take 1,000 a year. I'm super happy with that. But anyway, next week it'll be a regular scheduled video. Check out the merch below. Give this video a thumbs up. I always tell you guys to give me a hug and love. And the reason, even if you don't love me, you love Bronco stuff, you love gear stuff, you love trailer stuff. Love it for that, because when you love my stuff, it tells YouTube, and it beats the algorithms on YouTube, and it tells it, hey, this guy or lady wants this stuff on their page. So when you open up YouTube every time, it'll be stuff you want to see, not stuff you don't. So anyway, I appreciate all your support. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you. See you next time.